going back to the roaring 20s, to vaudeville and the British music halls, and a variation of the banjo called the Banjorine, and another one called the Banjo uke. Welcome to Musical Minutes. I'm your host, Hans Manship. The Banjorine was the high-pitched, short-scale lead banjo. It dominated banjo orchestras from the 1890s through the 1930s, where it functioned as the lead melody instrument. Major makers produced variants, and the instrument influenced later four-string tenor banjo development. The banjo craze of the late 19th century had already spread across the U.S., and banjo clubs had proliferated. This environment created demand for a brighter, more penetrating lead instrument. Samuel Stewart of Philadelphia invented the banjorine in 1885. He introduced the instrument to the public through performances by William Huntley, who demonstrated it at the Philadelphia Banjo Club events. His concerts sparked rapid adoption. Its tuning is a fourth above standard banjo, like a banjo capoed at the fifth fret, and was usually open-backed with no resonator. Early banjorines featured large rims, 12.5 inches, and cantilevered fingerboards extending over the head. Stewart refined the design. Rim sizes shifted down toward 11 inches, which became standard by the late 1920s. The 1890s through the 1930s was the golden age in banjo orchestras. They adopted the banjorine as their primary solo voice, with two banjorines carrying the melody line above the standard banjos. In the 1890s and 1910s, major manufacturers started to produce banjorines. In the 1930s, as banjo orchestras waned, the banjorine's role diminished. Amplified instruments replaced the need for high-pitched banjo leads. In the modern era, contemporary makers such as Goldtone and Van Gogh produced modern mini banjo versions. This small version I picked up in Southampton, England, includes the tambourine metal shakers. My banjorine is from 1896. I recut and replaced half of the missing pearl inlay and refurbished the instrument. The banjo uke, or banjolele, as it sometimes was called, is a four-string hybrid combining a banjo-style drumhead with a ukulele neck, or ukulele as they say on the islands. It plays like a ukulele and sounds like a banjo. Invented around 1916, it became wildly popular in the 1920s and 30s, with a bright, percussive tone, ideal for vaudeville and British music halls. It was loud, compact, easy to play, and was made famous by George Formby. Major makers produced numerous models, and the instrument remains in use today in folk, jazz, and novelty music. It traditionally used gut strings, and now nylon. Between the 1910s and 20s, the Hawaiian music craze created demand for louder ukulele-type instruments. The banjo uke emerged as a hybrid, offering ukulele playability with banjo projection. It was designed to cut through ensembles without amplification. In 1916, American craftsman John Bolender built early banjo ukulele prototypes in California. Alvin Keach created his version in Los Angeles in 1917 and trademarked the name banjolele in 1925. During the 1920s, vaudeville performers adopted the banjo uke for its volume and portability. Major makers such as Gibson introduced affordable models in 1924. Everybody seemed to want this fun new instrument, the banjo uke. In the 1920s and 30s, during the Golden Era, the banjo uke became a staple of British music halls and American vaudeville. It featured prominently in jazz age ensembles, radio broadcasts, and dance bands. British entertainer George Formby popularized the instrument globally in the 1930s and 40s. His split-stroke strumming style defined the banjo uke's cultural identity. Mid-century brands even produced all-metal banjo ukes. Modern musicians such as George Harrison used banjo ukes in recordings. On November 19th, 2023, the instrument was honored with World Banjo Ukulele Day. Contemporary makers Deering, Goldtone, Kala produced new models. I found my banjo uke at a flea market and refurbished it. The Banjorine and the Banjo uke. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Musical Minutes and will join me again. Until then, may God richly bless you as you pursue His creation of music and the instruments mankind has created for enjoyment.